Greetings everyone, I hope that you are well. Today we have a very special video. It is an interview between me and one of my college professors. And what I want you to do is simply listen. And I want you to listen to see how much you understand from our conversation. In our conversation, we also talk about her experience during this pandemic and what she has done to cope with this pandemic and the stress and the uncertainty and having to stay at home. So during this interview, just listen, but also be listening for those ways that she has used to cope and deal with this season of life that we find ourselves in, where we are staying at home and we don't know what is coming next. So I hope you enjoy, listen well, listen more than once, and we will get back to English next week. All right, take care and enjoy the interview. We'll see you later. Welcome everyone. I'm super excited about this video. We have a very special guest, Dr. Charlie Thomas. Charlie, where are you coming from today?
Hey Brian, I am really happy to be here. I am coming to you from Macon, Georgia. I'm right across the street from the campus of Mercer University.
Very good. And what do you do in Macon?
I teach philosophy at Mercer, and that's actually how, for those of you out here watching the video, that's how I got to know Brian, your instructor, as he was a student of mine at Mercer.
Very good. So some of my students won't know what philosophy is. How would you describe philosophy in simple terms?
We ask the big questions. Sorry, those are my little dogs making all that noise. If they're too loud, let me know.
My students are used to it.
Okay, good. In philosophy, we ask some of the big questions. You know, how do you find meaning in life? How do these different ways of making sense of the world come together? Like, what does psychology have to say to chemistry is actually a philosophical question. So philosophy kind of takes a step back and looks at the big picture of all kinds of different things, but also really focuses on the human experience of things. So beauty and truth and goodness, we ask what all those things are.
Yeah, so would you say some of the questions that philosophy asks are, who am I? How do I connect or relate to this world? Maybe even who is God?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think for historical reasons, we don't need to get into, there's this perception that philosophy and religion are in tension with one another, but that's just not true for most of the history of the world. The big, deep religious questions are also big, deep philosophical questions. And when you ask those big philosophical questions, like, who am I? What's my place in this world? What's my responsibility to other people? That ethics is a branch of philosophy. All of these questions can have religious answers as well as non-religious answers. And so there's a huge and natural overlap between religious questions and philosophical questions.
Yeah, awesome. I don't know if you know this, but your first philosophy class, your intro class, is the reason why I started studying philosophy.
No, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
My sister-in-law, who also went to Mercer, said, Charlie Thomas, you need to take her. And so I took your intro class, and the rest is...
That's Justine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's I owe Justine a thank you for that. Yeah, I'm so glad she sent you my way.
Yeah, and the rest is history. I went. My first overseas trip was with you to Italy.
Right.
So yeah. So that was pretty awesome. So one reason why I wanted to talk to you is I want practice for my students to listen to people talking. And another reason is our students are very, in Texas, we are staying at home as well. And a lot of them are in their homes. They don't know, they are in a new culture, so they don't understand what is going on. And some of them come from places where maybe they've had to do something like this, but maybe not. And so wanting to talk about ways to cope with, deal with being in a stressful situation like the pandemic, like dealing with COVID-19. And to be more specific, another reason why I chose you, and I didn't mention this to you earlier, but I listened to a podcast called Dolly Parton's America. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I haven't listened to it.
And one of the episodes talked about her music and how some of her music is played all over the world, and how this specifically Tennessee Mountain Home, and for the man doing the interview, who's from Lebanon originally, he could see it and see his home in her words and through the music. And so because you've been doing some music during this time, this is another reason why I wanted to talk to you. So
yeah, the music has been very important to me in self-quarantine, social distancing. I get out a little bit. I'm still not sure which words to use for this all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm being very careful, and I'm home almost all the time. My son hasn't really left the house in more than a month now. But we're not sick. And I still go to the store once a week. So maybe quarantine's not the right word, but we're isolating ourselves.
Yeah.
So it seems like social distancing isn't quite the right word either.
Right.
But yeah, the music has been really important to me while we've been at home for a couple reasons. I'm posting, as I think you know, I'm posting a song a day. And what that has done is it's really given rhythm to my day.
Yeah.
That is that I wake up and I think, okay, what am I going to do today? And I have this pattern now where I'm posting an original song one day, and then posting a cover the next day. That's when I did the Dolly Parton song. It was on one of the cover days. And so I also think about that. Okay, if it's a cover, what do I want to do? What's going on? It helps me think about kind of what's on my mind and how I'm feeling.
Right.
And makes me think about what song might be evocative of that feeling. And then I have to pull out the guitar and make sure I can play the song. And I try to get them done by dinner time. Sorry about that. My guitar was about to fall over. Here it is right here. It's very windy here today.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So it does all of that. And I think that finding rhythms like that, we're so used to living in a world where, we have deadlines and we have appointments and we have classes, and they create rhythm and structure to our day. And we think that, if we were just on our own and we didn't have to show up for work, that, it'd be nice, it'd be better, it'd be more relaxed and organic. And of course, sometimes it is. It's great to have a day that just doesn't have shape every now and then. But for me, day after day after day, not having any shape, even though I had plenty of things to do, was making things worse. And so having a thing that I do every day that I have to think about that's doable. It's not like super hard. It's a doable thing that I have to do every day. It's created a kind of a frame, and the rest of my life can fit in it. So that's been really, really good. I will say, I think it's different people really do need different things during this time. I kind of am on the introverted end of that spectrum, and so even though I'm a little restless and I miss certain things and I wish I could get out and I miss certain people, emotionally I'm pretty much fine.
Yeah.
But I have friends who are on the other end of that spectrum who really get their energy from interacting with people, and they're really, really struggling. So I try to be more mindful of those people in my life. I try to reach out to those people more often, because I don't think just putting structure. I have friends for whom that wouldn't be enough. This is sort of enough for me. I'm fine. But
for sure.
People need to do. I'm just going to hold my guitar.
Do not let that fall.
Yeah, I don't really want it to fall. So yeah, I think it's really important to be honest about what you need and what makes you feel better, and try to find ways of making that a part of your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I heard 3 big things in that where music has helped you is adding routine and structure to your day. Also music gives you a way to think about and process your emotions. And maybe in a way that for some people maybe writing in a journal, but singing words, and maybe even sometimes singing other people's words, is super helpful for you. And then also connected to that idea is just that it allows you to identify those emotions inside of you.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. And I think I would add a fourth. It makes me feel like I am connecting to people, and that's really, really nice too. Sometimes it's easier to sing a song about feeling lonely than it is to like call someone else and say, I feel lonely today. That's just a little awkward. This makes it easier to connect on those deeper things. So yeah, but you nailed it. Those 3 are exactly right.
Yeah. Awesome. As you were talking, you mentioned your son. Many of our students are parents themselves and have children in different ages. Let me ask it this question. What have you had to do with him for his schoolwork?
His school is, I think, doing a great job. They do live synchronous classes 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, the students work on their own. But they're not just online versions of what they would have done in the classroom. They're really thoughtful. So they work together online for a few minutes, and then the students do work on their own for a few minutes, and they come back in and process it. And then they have a break and they move on to the next class. Again, it's good for him to have that structure.
Right.
But it's hard, he's in 10th grade. Yeah. He's taking, an honors chemistry class that's really hard, and to not have all of the normal supports that you have in the classroom for that work has been really hard for him. So he's not 8 years old. Right. I'm not doing the kinds of things I would do if I had little kids. But trying to figure out what he needs when what his sleep schedule needs to be, and
Right.
how to get nutrition into him at the right time so his
Yeah.
brain is
Yeah,
functioning
sure.
when it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's I feel like we're just making it up. You
Yeah.
feel like you kind of know what you're doing
Yeah.
when you get into a routine, and then this has meant that we just had to rethink all of that. So we're doing fine, and he's doing fine, but it's been tough.
Yeah. Has it gotten easier, do you think, or is it started easy and gotten harder as this
it's
gone on?
it's there's a bit of an up and down. I think at first there was a little bit of novelty to it.
Yeah.
And so he was really happy to see people, because they had spring break, and then they had an extra week off before distance learning began. So when it began, everybody was really happy to see each other. So there was a little bit of a honeymoon, I think.
Right.
And then it was really hard figuring out what to do. But then we figured it out, and after a week or two, we kind of figured it out. And then with this sort of adrenaline gone, I guess, some things started slipping between the cracks.
Yeah.
And then we had to tighten it up, and then that was hard.
Yeah.
And now everybody's just tired. I mean, everyone's just really, really tired. So it's less hard now in a I don't know what I'm doing kind of way than it is in a just, oh my goodness, aren't we done yet kind of way.
And so in Texas, the governor has canceled classes already through this end of school year. What's it like in Georgia? Have they done that as well?
They have. My son's in a private school that followed, for the most part, the governor's orders for the public schools. But the public schools in Georgia, their last day was May 1st, so last Friday. And my son's school decided that they needed to continue until May 20th.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to continue distance learning for another about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm glad they continued it. I'm not sorry that he's still in school.
Yeah. It just, I was just curious if there was how far, so if he saw the finish line yet, or if he could see the end yet.
Well, I think he sort of, I think he sort of saw it a little too soon, and now he's like, oh gosh, I still have to do this. And if we can just tighten it up for about or this week, I think next week, I think he'll see the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And we'll have that sort of last bit of energy. Yeah.
Very good. What has the shelter in place, the stay at home, quarantine, what has that been like in Georgia where you have been?
It started a little bit late. Georgia was one of the last states to put the shelter-in-place order in. And in my opinion, it's ending too early. Our shelter-in-place order expired April 30th, so last Thursday. It's still in place for elderly people and fragile people, but restaurants can reopen in Georgia. So it's interesting. There are some restaurants reopening. I mean, there are plenty of places doing curbside pickup and, delivery. But in terms of having their dining rooms open, a few places are opening up. But almost no one I know is actually going. Mm-hmm. There's this sense that it's not safe yet. So that's a concern because it seems unsafe to me. I'm not an expert, so I don't know, and I don't want to make decisions for other people. But it's just subtle. But but I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna stay home until we have testing more widely available, and So to answer your question, to try to be
Yeah.
clear, the actual rules are in Georgia are pretty relaxed.
Right.
A lot of people I know are taking it more seriously than those rules. So.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, and in Texas, I think we are doing a little both. Our stay-at-home orders stopped on the 30th as well. Dallas has been one of the bigger places where more cases have been, and we've been more restrictions in comparison to other places. And the governor issued an executive order that says all the state has to follow the governor, and they can't do that anymore. There's politics in that, but I'm not going to touch that. But I get the sense here. Well, we are restaurants here are open, but only at 25%. They can only have 25% people come in. But a lot of places, a lot of movie theaters haven't opened, even though they could. But everywhere is 25% for the most part. And then, yeah, we'll see. But the people I've talked to, most people are we're not ready yet. But there are some people who are just ready to go and need that social interaction.
And it requires you to come back to work, and there's no shelter-in-place order, anymore. You've got to go to work. You know? So I know that being able to stay at home is a privilege that a lot of people have. So I just hope places are being safe.
Yep. Yes, for sure. So this has been really helpful, and there's been a lot of good things. But I wondered if you would be willing to play a song for our students, since we talked about music being a way to help cope with and deal with these hard times. Would you mind introducing the song for them and then doing the song?
Yeah, of course. I'd be happy to. This is a song I wrote called The Blue Sky Blues. It's really about everything sort of appearing to be okay, but it not really feeling okay. And that's been a feeling I've had a lot during this pandemic. So I thought it would be a good song for this. I'm going to scoop back just a little bit, so you'll be able to see and hear me okay.
Awesome.
Morning, darling, she says from the pillow. Good morning, baby, let's wake up the kids. Good morning, sweetheart, school bell be ringing soon. Good morning, sunshine, a new day begins. When I'm working, nothing seems easy. The truth is, nothing's that hard. When I'm playing, seems like I'm watching myself through a hole in the wall. Last night, the moon hit the water. This morning, the sun filled the sky. Now, seems kind of funny. The sky's blue, so am I. sky's blue, so my girl alone at the movies, a man surrounded by friends. They both share that longing, comes out of the blue, and hope it'll leave with the wind. Last night the moon hit the water. This morning the sun filled the sky. Now seems kind of funny. The sky's blue, so my. The sky's blue, so my. Someday when I meet him in heaven, the good Lord will help me to know why time sometimes feels like a river keeps flowing with nowhere to go. Last night the moon hit the water. This morning the sun filled the sky. Now seems kind of funny. The sky's blue, so my. The sky's blue, so my.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful song.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with my students. And it's been really good to catch up with you. It's been too long. Usually when I'm in Georgia, I'm just going, I'm on the road because there's everybody lives far out. But yeah, this has really been great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for asking me to do it. It was really great to see you. And I hope everybody, all your students are doing okay and staying safe and
yeah,
going to make it.
Yeah, we're trying. We're praying for them and trying to do what we can. I will tag you when this gets posted so you can watch it. And yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you have a great day. Stay safe.
You too. Right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.